Having ridden on a track bike round a velodrome day in, day out, it's fair to say it was second nature to me. But what I've not done much of is ride a fixie outside on the open road. So today you're coming with me, we're going out for a ride. But first, coffee. Things you need to know about a fixed gear bike. You have one fixed gear, meaning you can't freewheel. The pedals are constantly turning. You have one brake up front, and the back brake is essentially your legs, because you can use your legs to slow you down. You really do feel connected to the bike. And the only difference between this bike and a track bike is that a track bike doesn't have any brakes at all. It still has a fixed gear, but then I guess you don't really need brakes on the velodromes because there's no corners to go around. The only thing you need to know about a fixie is you can't stop pedaling. Otherwise, you're gonna get catapulted off the front of your bike. Right, when you first get on a fixie, you might feel a little bit nervous, but that is absolutely normal. And personally, the thing I worry about the most when I'm on a fixie is not being able to stop. But in reality, I can. I still have my front brake and I have control with my rear wheel as well. It's also worth noting that it is actually a legal requirement in some countries to have a front brake on your fixie, so keep that in mind. Now, it is normal to feel nervous when you get on a bike, but when you feel nervous, you tense up your body, your arms are quite stiff, and that's just going to make things a little bit unstable. So try your best, take deep breaths, relax, and remember that you're okay. You can stop. Now, I'm using flat pedals on my fixie, and most of the time people use fixie bikes to commute around town, and plus I saw all the cool kids do it, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put flat pedals on too because I want to be cool. But you can actually use clipless pedals on your fixie, and it might actually be a little bit better because you're going to be clipped into those pedals, meaning that you can really back pedal on the back wheel to help you slow down. Now, obviously, one of the main worries people have when riding fixies is about the braking. And I'll be honest, it does take some time getting used to braking and slowing down using your legs and knowing exactly how much pressure you need to put on your legs to slow down. But like everything, it takes practice. So keep at it. And once you've been riding for like 10 minutes, you'll have learned so much within that 10 minutes. So I'll be honest, just from this little ride, it's all come back to me. You're slowing down the legs. Just like being on a track bike, really. See? But obviously it's not as easy as stopping with disc brakes and not as quick, but you do have a front brake as well, and you can slow down pretty quickly. Now, it's super important, no matter what bike you're on, to look ahead and anticipate what's coming, but it feels a little bit more important when you're on a fixie because you might not have enough time to slow down. So always have your wits about you. And if you want my advice, just always be wide on coffee when you're on a fixie. Just be alert. Sometimes if you're riding in a city, there'll be some great bike paths, and that's a great way so you don't have to worry about cars and traffic. But some bike paths can have a few obstacles on, like trees and people, so you do need to keep your wits about. But another reason to look ahead is so you can keep your momentum up, because when you're on a fixie, you've only got one gear, you might have quite a big gear on, and it can take quite a bit of work to get that gear going. So if you can see ahead there's traffic lights, you can start slow down gently, or then they turn green, and then you can get going again without even stopping. Now, when you're cornering on a fixed gear bike, I would not recommend going full whack into a corner like this, because on, say, a normal road bike where you can freewheel, you can get your pedals in a perfect position to go around the corner. So if you're going around a corner like this, your left leg would be at the 12 o'clock position, giving you lots of room. But on a fixie, you don't really have the choice. So if you came into this corner full whack and you were tipping that bike over, that pedal's going to hit the floor. You're going to go and crash. Would not recommend that. So just take your time on the corners. But a lot of fixies do have shorter cranks, which mean there is a little bit more room under there, but still, just take your time. Now, personally, I think track standing is a lot easier on a fixed gear bike because you can roll back and forth and find that biting point and use that fixed gear to your advantage. And it is a great skill to have because, you know, you can show off in front of your mates at traffic lights, you can get a bit of a head start. It looks pretty cool too. There's also a load of other cool tricks that you can do on a track bike as well. You can do little skids and hops with your back wheel, and you can also ride backwards if you're skilled enough, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. Now, obviously, I've probably mentioned quite a few times in this video already, you only have one gear to choose from. So you don't have the luxury of coming up to a hill and then you're like, oh, I'll change down a gear. It's just not an option. So you kind of need a gear that is very versatile, that you can spin quite easily on the flat, but also get up a few hills. So choose it wisely. I have gone for a 41-15, I believe, on this bike, and so far it seems quite a nice gear. I haven't gone up any massive hills, but I do my best to try and avoid them. But it's just another little thing to think about that could interfere on your enjoyment of riding your bike. Hopefully you enjoyed coming along on my fixie ride. I know I had so much fun being back on a fixie, a little bit different, not in the comfort of the velodrome, but you know what? I really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to ride this bike more because, I mean, it is a very beautiful bike. But let me know in the comments if you enjoyed. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, Bella.